3:21. It's Scott BR. This is the Mighty 1090. This is the home of the Padres and the home of the Aztecs.
Officially.
San Diego State and the Mighty 1090 announcing about an hour and change ago on the Darren Smith Show that San Diego State football and basketball will be moving to the Mighty 1090, which means all of Southern California and beyond will be hearing San Diego State's football team when they kick off in August. And now Coach Rocly Long is in studio. Coach, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
We're doing really good. What did we take you away from? What is the football coach doing at this time of the year that we were able to get you over here to the radio station?
Well, the majority of the staff is out evaluating or recruiting, and so I get to sit in the office and break down tape. So I was breaking down Ohio State today, so they're not very good.
What the guys
No,
that are
they're not.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're only the guys that are thinking that they could unseat Alabama.
Right.
Yeah, they're going to be preseason ranked number one.
I know.
And probably have the lead candidate for the Heisman Trophy and all that good stuff.
Yeah, but what a great opportunity that presents, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we don't mind playing them if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and it's
you got
early.
7 starters on offense. You got 9 starters on defense back. I mean, that's a pretty nice thing to come into the year with.
No, it's great to come in. I mean, I think with our senior class, I think we're going to be a pretty good football team. And you might as well, what people perceive as the best out there, you might as well see where you stand.
Right.
So you play Ohio State at Ohio State on September 7th. You guys play Eastern Illinois the week before. Do they have a game prior to San Diego State going there? Do you know?
Yes, and I don't remember who it is, but they play a game before ours.
Okay,
too,
but just one, right?
Yeah, just one. We both have one game.
You tell us, if you're going to go on the road, take on a team that's preseason number 1, everybody thinks is going to be there at the end to win the national championship or at least compete for it. Catching them early, is that the time you'd like to catch a team like that?
No, I'd prefer to have 5 or 6 wins under our belt and let them have 5 or 6 wins under their belt, and let's make it something important. I'd prefer the other.
I guess the reason I was asking is because maybe you figure before it all comes together for them, you know, like Alabama last year. I mean, Alabama lost that game to Texas A&M, got better even afterwards, and went on to win the national championship. I just wonder if catching a team like this early before they really, really get it going is the better way to go.
Well, I have great respect for them and their coaching staff. And when Coach Meyer was at Utah, we played against them, competed against them, and he'll have them ready. It doesn't matter what time of the season it is. And I think our guys will be ready, too.
Well, that is going to be exciting.
Oh, I'm telling you, when you have those kind of huge games, you know, normally when I was playing, we'd have Colorado State. No offense to Colorado State, but kind of the middle echelon of college football for our preseason games, if you will. That's what we would call them. And then we'd go into the Southwest Conference schedule. You guys, aside from Eastern Illinois, I mean, Ohio State, Oregon State, you guys getting right into it.
Yeah, and I think that's the way it should be. I mean, you had Coach Fisher on here. You know, he doesn't shy from playing anybody. It's kind of our lead into it. I don't think we should shy from playing anybody either. I mean, I don't mind playing them all.
What do you think about, how to take the program? It seems like it's been building over the last few years. I mean, obviously, Brady's 2 years or whatever it was, he had a good final year. You've had 2 really good years. Right? We are through 2 seasons under, right? Mm-hmm. As you look forward into the future, taking San Diego State football to the next level, how does that happen in your crystal ball?
I think you got to continue to win championships. You got to compete with the best in your league and win a championship or 2 or 3 or 4. I mean, in basketball, we can go to NCAA tournaments. In football, you go to bowl games. Well, if you win the conference championship, that puts you in a pretty good bowl. And then you play people like Ohio State and Oregon State. And if you beat them along the way and all of a sudden you're 12-0,
people pay attention.
You get into the BCS bowls. And if you're in a BCS bowl, you actually got a chance to maybe win a national championship. But I think we got to be consistent and continue to win championships.
Well, you've strung together 3 straight bowl appearances, and I mean that's kind of what you're talking about. Getting the guys to understand that this is a team that will normally play in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean I think we expect that now.
Right.
And now the next thing that you have to get is that they expect to beat people like Ohio State and Oregon State. I mean we talk all the time about. I'm sure they'll be a little bit more excited about playing Ohio State at Ohio State. But you got to prepare exactly the same way every week. And if we beat Ohio State, there's no big. I mean, don't be running out in the middle of the field. That's what you're supposed to do. I mean, we don't ever go into a game not thinking we're going to win. So why would you act crazy when you win? And last year when we beat Boise State at Boise State, I was so proud of the team. You didn't see them running into the end zone or running out into the middle of the field and You didn't. They acted like they were supposed to do it. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to win. So why don't you act like you're gonna?
Exactly.
Rocly Long in studio as San Diego State football and basketball moves to the mighty 1090, and we kick things off on Saturday, August 31st against Eastern Illinois, a game that's here at Qualcomm Stadium. Then they're on the road at Ohio State, then come home and take on Oregon State. The schedule is great. I mean, it really is terrific. At New Mexico State thereafter, Nevada. But I'm looking at the home schedule. Fresno State, New Mexico, Boise State. Nice trip for the guys down to Hawaii.
Yeah, that's not a good football trip. But, yeah, it sounds good to everybody else. But yeah.
It's a terrible football trip. Yeah. And it actually comes at a terrible time. You know, it's kind of like right in the middle of November. You still have Boise State, and you still have to play at UNLV. It comes at like a terrible time of the season.
It does come at a terrible. I'm glad you recognize that.
Coach.
It comes at a terrible time.
I think I've told Billy Ray this. My senior year in college, our last regular season game was against Hawaii. And everybody was so looking forward to this trip, right? And they took us down there.
For what reasons, by the way?
Not to play football.
Right, no, because we were all, listen, this is Pittsburgh. I mean, we were freezing, number one. And number two, we were like, wow, this is cool. We're going to Hawaii. And we got there, and it was a very cool thing. And for the first half, we were killing those guys. And then what do you suppose happened in the second half? The heat, the humidity, and they blasted us into oblivion. And they do that. It's a trap game down there at Hawaii.
It is a trap game, plus you're playing at about 10 o'clock our time, so the fourth quarter's at midnight. Now, I don't think our guys stay up past midnight.
No, not these guys.
That often,
no.
you know. But,
not these young men.
Yeah, it makes it tough, and, you know, the travel's tough. It's really not the travel to Hawaii. It's the next game where you have the problem because you actually lose a day of preparation. Yeah.
Coach Rocly Long is in studio as the Mighty 1090 and San Diego State announced today that San Diego State football and basketball will be here on San Diego Sports Leader, the Mighty 1090, for this upcoming season and the next 4 seasons. Coach, let me ask you a question about media. Just get your opinion on this. So we move the games to 1090, which is an all-sports talk format, which is a station that blasts through L.A. and up the Central Coast, so more exposure as people drive around on a Saturday. But in your opinion, how much does it help the program now that so many of your games this year will be televised on ESPN? Do you see that as being a really, really big positive for the program?
I think that's a real big positive for the program. I also think being on 1090 is a big positive for the program. Now, all sports talk radio station that does games makes a lot more sense than maybe some other stations that don't do all sports talk.
Right.
Besides that, I listen to you guys when I come. I listen to the station when I come to work so I can hear what you're saying about me or about the team. I listen at lunchtime. I listen on the way home. When I catch you guys on the way home this time of year. During the season, I don't, if you're going to be at the same time, because I'm working. But this
if
time
we're
of year,
going to be at the same time. Right. Still a lot of question marks.
Yeah, I mean, you guys move around a lot, you know,
a little bit.
and sometimes you leave and come back and all that good stuff. But I'm glad you're back, by the way.
Yeah, well, we appreciate that. Hey, real quick, before you go, because I know you got to get back to work, I just want to hear what you think about the guys that were just drafted. I mean, Gavin Escobar, you could just see that guy on the field and know he was a big-time NFL prospect. And the other young man, Leon McFadden, the kid who's a cornerback, just give us a couple of thoughts on those two guys getting drafted.
Both of them are going to be really good NFL football players. Both of them were great college football players that have a head on their shoulders, that have the physical ability to play at that. They have a maturity about them that they're going to make those teams, and they'll be in that league. Bar an injury, they'll be in that league for a long time. Escobar will make a huge difference. Probably not this year, but in 2 years, he'll be one of those guys nobody can match up against. And Leon, according to the NFL, is a little short, but he's going to play. He's going to start this year for him.
And you can't buy that kind of exposure. You know, when they make a big play in the National Football League and they mentioned that they're San Diego State Aztecs, I mean, that's fantastic for the program.
Yeah, I should go through all the statistics about who's had the most players drafted in the NFL the last 2 years of all the California schools, so forth and so on. If anybody wants to look that up, It'd be really interesting to see where San Diego State is on that list.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think we kind of get the idea of where they are on that list. It's exciting. These are exciting times. I mean, with all the bowl games you guys have been doing the last few years, conference championship, conference coach of the year, all the success that Coach Fisher has achieved in the last few years. I mean, this is the perfect time for the Mighty 1090 and San Diego State to finally get into business together. Coach, a tremendous pleasure to have you in studio.
Oh, it's always fun to be with you guys, too.
Thank you so much for visiting.